አሁን ኔትወርኩን በቡዳ እንደበላው ቱፍ በለት እስቲ
ማለ ዓለም የበላው
እንጃ ማን ነው የሆነ ሰው ነው ብቻ
Right, gentlemen, that was a long internet stoppage. Right, we were talking about the reserve time or warning period is also included in this calculation of, if you see the last para over here. So this 45 minutes includes the time is the total time from empty right up to from full right up to empty. Therefore, we have to obtain the nominal working duration. So if we have to obtain the nominal working duration, the reserve time should be deducted. The reserve time for different manufacturers, they could be different. If somebody wants to keep a reserve time of 15 minutes to give people who are actually gone inside the enclosed space or in the dangerous to fight a fire, then our nominal working duration should be, because the reserve time is out of a total time of 45 minutes, we have minutes reserve time, the actual working time of only 30 minutes. Air consumption naturally depends on the nature of physical condition and the experience of using a breathing apparatus as well as the actual task being performed. So the air consumption, we have taken a nominal this thing for has been take a minute, but this will vary depending on the nature of work which the person is required to. That means supposed to go up and down many decks in the engine room, many decks inside the accommodation. He's supposed to go down inside a tank, which is probably much more strenuous. Coming up out of a tank is one continuous ladder, so that will again be pretty strenuous, especially if he is trying to bring up somebody. That's the nature of work. The person's physical condition, of course, that depends how unfit his breathing rate may increase, and of course the experience of using a breathing apparatus. Actually start feeling claustrophobic when they wear a breathing apparatus because they are not used to, especially the demand. They sometimes they start hyperventilating, in the sense breathing really shoots up. The number of breaths taken, that goes shooting up, and since that increases the air consumption also. Liters a minute. That is normally taken as 45 minutes. A breathing valve, which is also called a demand valve, a regulator unit, harness, and an air supply connection. The air supply, the source of the air supply is obviously the air cylinder and the air line from the cylinder, which comes to the, and breathing valve is obviously fitted to the face mask. We will study these components one by one. The face mask, it has an excuse me. The face mask with the inner mask is normally made of rubber, neoprene, or silicone, and is provided with a replaceable visor. Now the sealing part of the face mask, I think we were talking about this in our last class. The contours of especially the face, the head of two different people can never be the same, will not be the same. But since the face mask is the same, that same mask has to adapt to the contours of the face, the bone structure of each and every person, the facial structure of each and every person. Of course, beards are out. Normally, if a person has got a very large or thick beard, the sealing will not be proper at all. So the inner mask is normally made of flexible material like neoprene or silicone, so that it can seal the or gas tight seal. The can make an airtight or gas tight seal with people of different facial structures. The visor is replaceable after some period of time. Normally these visors, they are made of polycarbonate. After some period of time, you will find that the visor has developed some scratches, and once the amount of scratches etc. become pretty high, the visibility is severely restricted. That's why on board normally we have one more BS sets which are only for practice. So that means the research which will be used in an actual emergency and the equipment on that is checked, but it is not used. The ones that are used are the ones which are kept aside for practice. The inner mask of this face mask, the inner mask is designed in such a way that the air circulation, and also remember out carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide, there should not be any dead spaces inside the inner mask. So the inner mask is designed in such a way that the air circulation reaches all parts of the mask, and there are no small pockets of carbon dioxide which are buildup of carbon dioxide inside. The person who's wearing the mask, after some time he may start feeling unwell due to lack of air, that is lack of oxygen. And there are several types which can be fitted, or which are fitted with speech diaphragms or radio. Time we find on board that let's say a person is the entire ship's company is carrying out a FFA drill, firefighting drill, and the person who's gone inside the engine room or galley or wherever to fight the fire, to supposedly fight the fire, this is a drill, and he's wearing the fireman suit. On top of that BS set, on top of the BS set, he's probably wearing a hood, and then he's carrying a walkie-talkie. Under such conditions, sometimes operation, and of course he could be carrying a fire hose, a charged fire hose, and extinguishers too. And under such circumstances, operating a walkie-talkie may not be the most convenient thing. So there are nowadays you have a lot of these BS sets with face masks, which are fitted with speech diaphragms, where your demand valve is, they have this speech diaphragms, and also you have some types which come with a throat mask, mic. Sorry, with a throat mic. So the mic is attached to your near the larynx, and then a person can carry it back to the person in charge of the operation as to what he's seeing and whether he requires any additional help, etc., etc. Whatever communication he needs to do, can do that. Then, and the demand valve. The breathing valve is of the demand. Air is only supplied during an inhalation. The breathing valve is balanced in order to ensure sufficient supply as long as there is air in the cylinder. most of the breathing valves, they are of the demand type. I won't say most, but few of them are of the demand type. That means only when you suck, only when you're trying to breathe in air, only then the breathing valve opens. And it should be able to ensure that sufficient supply of air is being given to the person wearing it, provided, of course, there is air in the cylinders. And most of these breathing valves today, they're trying to give a slight positive pressure in the mask. And this positive pressure obviously make it impossible for any toxic gases to enter the face mask, which would otherwise occur due to fitting leakage. So in case your face mask is not fitting properly, in case the person who's wearing the BA set, he has a beard or something, and as you know, a beard will prevent a positive seal from happening. That means the face mask will not make a gas tight seal with the face, with the head of the person. The demand valves, they are designed so that they keep giving a slight positive pressure in the mask. Once there is a slight positive pressure in the mask, that means even when the person is trying to inhale, that means when he's inhaling, he's creating a suction. Even then there is a positive pressure, so that at the time of inhalation, no gas from the surrounding atmosphere. The gas could be any toxic gas, it could be just be smoke, etc., depending on where he has gone. None of that can enter his face mask, and once it enters his face mask, obviously his performance or his life also could be threatened, especially if the gas is very toxic. So the modern design is that this slight pressure is provided to prevent such the occurrence from happening. That is, from any toxic gases or smoke, etc., from entering the mask. Now, we can draw a parallel here in the sense that this is same as the accommodation space on tankers and gas carriers and chemical carriers. The accommodation space on tankers, for the sake of convenience, we'll call it tankers. Accommodations on tankers to maintain a slight positive pressure. Now, most of the time on tankers, the AC is on recirculation. We will just deviate slightly, so just to give you a parallel. The AC is on recirculation, so that no, you could say, gas from the cargo deck, etc., from the cargo deck can be sucked into the accommodation, because there are people living in the accommodation, there are people living and working in the accommodation, and we don't want them to be overcome by any cargo vapors, etc., especially more so on a chemical tanker where the cargo vapors itself could be pretty toxic, or even on a crude oil carrier where the cargo vapors could contain hydrogen sulfide. And we have seen in our previous classes the hydrogen sulfide, the TLV of hydrogen sulfide is pretty low. So even a small concentration of hydrogen sulfide can cause many health complications, including unconsciousness. And of course, more extreme cases can even cause death. But anyway, coming back to the accommodation, if it is not if the accommodation, we have the galley blower, and also we have the sanitary exhaust fan. The galley blower is exhausting the air from the accommodation. Your sanitary exhaust fan is again exhausting the air from the accommodation. So as a result of, if the accommodation is purely on recirculation, what will happen? The accommodation will go into vacuum. And once it goes into vacuum, anybody opening any accommodation doors to the outside air, which can contain cargo vapors, etc., will obviously rush into the accommodation. So most of the in on a tanker, when the AC is set up, especially when the ship is in port, the recirculating valve is set up such that the fresh air is about 25%. Now, the fresh air being 25%, Now here also the regulation is that the fresh air suction should be at least 30 meters away from the cargo space. Fresh air suction for the blowers should be at least 30 meters away from the cargo space, so that any vapors, etc., by the time they come to this 30 meters, basically the vapors are largely dissipated. That's why you will find your engine room blowers, they are normally considered much more dangerous space than your accommodation. The engine room blowers are kept absolutely aft. They are usually kept on the funnel deck. So there again, we are more than meeting the requirement of 30 meters. But for the accommodation, we have this rule of 30 meters, at least 25, around 25% of the fresh air suction open, so that the accommodation does not go into vacuum. So that breathing demand valve and what we do in the accommodation of a tanker. As you know, on a tanker, it is mandatory to have the AC or the heating running. We cannot keep the doors and windows. I mean, we cannot keep the portholes and the doors. With on some other kinds of ships, we can. But on tankers, gas carriers, chemical tankers, we cannot do that. So as a result, we need to maintain a slight positive pressure in the accommodation. And here also, we need to maintain a slight positive pressure inside the mask. And this positive pressure is automatically turned on as soon as the use from the apparatus. This is the demand type. So in this way, there is no risk of forgetting to turn on the positive pressure or it being accidentally turned off. So the moment a person puts on his mask and the demand valve type, and once the person starts breathing, that means he starts creating the suction, the positive pressure automatically created by this demand valve. Then that rules out emergency, a person will be putting on this BS8 in a great hurry. So there is a risk of forgetting to turn on the positive pressure, or accidentally somebody could turn it off. So now designed such that the positive pressure, as soon as the user's breathing starts. And then we have the regulator unit. It consists of a pressure regulator, a high pressure hose, a breathing hose, a pressure gauge, and a warning device. All these things are there in the regulator unit. And some units also have an extra air outlet. We'll come across that sometime later in the slides. So the regulator unit, quite a few things. Pressure regulator. Remember this bottles they are charged 300 bar, 200 or 300 bar. That is the normal range to which these beer bottles are pressurized. So obviously, we need to have a reducing valve to bring it down to normal breathable pressures. And this pressure regulator, they nowadays the two-stage sets. Now from your breathing bottle, it is coming out at bar. It is reduced to maybe 6 to 10 bar. And then it comes to the pressure regulator, which is somewhere near your face mask, which is kind of built into the demand valve. And there, from there, it is brought down to a little more than 1 atmosphere, so that, as we said, some additional pressure needs to be there. Little positive pressure needs to be there inside. Now the regulator unit, pressure regulator, high pressure hose. The high pressure hose coming from the bottle to the face. the breathing hose, and a pressure gauge. All these ones, they have a pressure gauge which will obviously indicate pressure when once a person has entered before the person has entered the high risk area, and once he comes out. You must have seen all this in your fire drills or rescue drills. And then we have the warning device. The warning manufacturer, once the bottle pressure comes down to a certain level, the warning device will go on, and once warning device, the person should evacuate immediately and come out from there, because now he's on his basically what is called known as the reservoir. The pressure regulator reduces the primary air pressure, which can be up to 300 bar, to a secondary air pressure 9 to 10 bar, which is then supplied through a breathing hose up to the breathing valve and the face mask. The pressure 300, so basically it's a two reduction. So 300 bar to 9 to 10 bar valve, and then breathing hose 9 to 10 bar. Obviously, that is also too much for a person to breathe in. So it is brought down to a little more than 1 atmosphere, so that the person can breathe comfortably without any ill effects. The warning device, and it starts to operate when 20 to 30% of the total remains. So this is the 20 to 30% capacity of the total air capacity is what is being called here as the reserve. So most of the models, it varies from manufacturer to manufacturer. So most of the models are fitted with this warning device. And once you come down to, let's say, 30% of the total capacity, it will start giving off alarms, and that is when it has to evacuate the enclosed space or the dangerous space ASAP, as soon as possible. And this percentage differs from various standards of true enough. Not only different the body, the body from whom the manufacturer is taking the approval. If the approving body says, okay, no, you need to have 20%, another approving body says you need to have 30%, the manufacturer has to obey that regulation, and he designs his equipment accordingly. And this 20 to 30% will give a withdrawal period of approximately 8 to 9 minutes when using a 1800 liter air supply. 1800 liters means your 300 bar bottle into two. So 8 to 9 minutes approximately should be enough for a person to come out of a dangerous atmosphere. If not, if we find that the space where the person has entered, this should be actually thought out well before the person is entering. We cannot go blindly as per the manufacturers or the approval bodies reserve air capacity requirement. If we find that the person where the person is entering that contains a lot of blockages, etc., etc. For example, if a person is going to rescue, it is expected that the atmosphere may be deficient in oxygen, etc., etc. Ballast tank has got a lot of this transverse members, stiffeners, etc. And for him to come from, let's say, 2-3 decks down in a ballast tank, especially on a VLCC, it may take a little more than 8 to 9 minutes. So the person who's actually conducting this entire operation, he has to decide that, okay, your air bottle will give you a total period of 45 minutes. But in this case, since the space that we are entering is more, the time taken to come out will be more. So here we should consider maybe half the time. If the air bottle is lasting for 45 minutes, he can say, no, we after 25 minutes, the person should start coming out. So that is at his discretion. And this, and then after 25 minutes, he'll start informing the people. The people who are inside, they may not be keeping the track of time, but the person who's outside, he obviously has a watch, etc. He's keeping a track of the time from the time they entered. And after 20-25 minutes, he'll ask, okay, on the walkie-talkie or whatever sort of communication they are using, okay, now you can start coming. So it depends place from location to location. It cannot be a one size fits all locations kind of rule. So from depending on the severity of the location, the more complicated the location, the more complicated the situation, the more dangerous the atmosphere, the more toxic the atmosphere, etc. These rules by the user and the person in charge of the entire operation, these rules, they can cha- change them and to give them an adequate safety margin. And normally this, if we are going strictly by the warning device, the warning and or a reserve air valve, just like on we may have seen on some motorcycles, we have a reserve fuel valve. So once the level to a certain level, the fuel shuts off. Then we have to open the reserve, and then the fuel starts flowing again, either to the carburetor or to the fuel injector. Similarly, here we have a reserve air valve. So then the person inside, he will have to manually open the reserve air valve. Most of the time, it is usually a whistle, which will give a audible alarm that your air capacity has come down to 20 to 30% of what it was. So it's time for you to evacuate the area. Now, these are extra air outlets which can be used as extra rescue mask. The Revitox is a brand. Here, we are just using this Revitox as an example. So these are basically used for quick connection to a high pressure breathing apparatus, and these are used for basically evacuation of people who have been overcome by gas. Immediate assistance and pressure supply can be given to a casualty in a toxic, or for ventilation of gas-proof suits. Most of the time, it is for reviving casualty. If you see the first paragraph, some sets also have air outlet. This is what the extra air outlet is, usually to give emergency air supply to somebody who's fainted or who's been overcome by smoke or toxic atmosphere or whatever inside an enclosed space. Inside the, let's say, inside the accommodation, have a fire in the galley, and we can have the chief cook or the second cook overcome by smoke. Is down over there. Just an example. And the people who are going in for the rescue, the first thing they can do is put this Revitox mask that person, and here's got a quick connection, quick connector to your BL set, and start the process of reviving, and then keep the face mask on that person and start bringing him out, so that he doesn't of the smoke atmosphere or the toxic atmosphere, depending on what location is. And then we have the harness. The harness normally consists of a steel plate or a plastic frame, designed back plate, two adjustable shoulder straps, a waist strap with a quick release buckle. So the harness consists of all of this. As I was mentioning in our last class, it is very important and put on the person who's wearing it. So it is kind of, it is not just a flat black band designed to the approximate contours of the human back. Two adjustable, normally the adjustable shoulder straps, they take the entire weight of the bottles onto the person's shoulder. And it has also got a waist strap with a quick release buckle so that the bottles don't it does not start swinging or banging around. So to the person's torso, to the person's and it has got a quick release buckle so that in case he has to change the bottles or he has to change the BS sets quickly, he can quickly take off one BS set and put on another. So of the quick release buckle over here. And then we go on to air supply. The air supply packs, they contain one or two cylinders with 3 water capacity. That means if water in these bottles, we would be able to fill up about 11 liters. The filling pressure is normally 200 bar. There are also high pressure cylinders which can be filled up to 300 bar. And there are these cylinders made of composite materials which can withstand 137 bar only. So different manufacturers, different requirements, different kinds of cylinder packs. You can have one pack, you can have two packs. The packs can contain bottles which have got a free air capacity of 3 to 11 liters free air, or if you fill it up with water, you'll fill up with 3 liters of water in some, going up to 11 liters in others. Now this filling pressure normally 200 bar and again 300. There is a lot of nowadays, to the best of my knowledge, correct me if I'm mistaken, but most of the BA bottles which I find on board, they are usually the 200 bar. The 300 bar, maybe in some specialized cases they are used, but normally on board our kind of ships, I have not seen the 300 bar of late. They used to be a time when the ships had 200 bar bottles also for some use, and 300 bar bottles also for some use, for more let's say for longer use, and let's say some kind of rescue operation inside a cargo tank, etc. They used to use the 300. Then for other use where the time for which the BA bottle will be required, or the BA bottle is supposed to last, is not so much, then they used to use this something when check on board compressor. They normally, the safety valves 200 or 300. So there was also fitted with this BA compressor with changeable safety valve. That means the safety valve could be changed. The same safety valve could be changed from 200, from a setting of 200 to 300. Nowadays, I've been told that the changeable kind of safety valves are not there anymore. You will have to replace the safety valve completely with either a 200 or a 300. But I'm just telling you about this incident. So next time when you go on board, you can check, and then you can be careful accordingly. Now on this particular ship, the BA compressor had the safety valve, which could emergency a 200 bar bottle, but he forgot to change the setting safety valve to 200 bar. It was still set, and luckily he left the bottle. He left the BA compressor. The bottle was filling. Luckily he went away, and then the bottle exploded. This was, as I said, in the emergency generator room. Disappeared completely. It was in very, very small pieces, burst into many pieces, and pieces went and punched a hole in the emergency generator room. So some pieces went and punched a hole in the emergency. Some pieces went and punched a hole in the crankcase of the emergency generator. So now we have no emergency switchboard, and we have no emergency generator, and of course we do not have a BS set, and some other sundry damage also. So the idea of telling you about this is that anytime you go on board, it is a good idea to check where on board, and if the safety valve of the BA compressor can be set for different pressure settings, like 200. Usually it's 200 or 200 and 300. As I said, normally this changeable setting safety valves that have been discovered, but that is something worth checking when you go on board next. Okay, we have the supplementary air supply. So if you are working in very toxic atmospheres, we can use an external air supply, either with a bellows or with a some kind of hand pump, etc., so that the person is not entirely dependent on the BS. Sometimes when a person is doing some work, some restricted space, possible for him to go back. The coming in and out, a lot of air. So in that case, the sort of case, separate a remote air supply, foot pump with a bellows or with a slide hand pump,